Welcome back to our weekly update. Not really sure how that happened or where that was going. I just decided to start playing something in A minor and turned into something on one of my albums. I'm sure many of you will recognize it, but I'll tell you anyway. From a movie, late 50s. That was a slow. That was the 5 o'clock in the morning FM version of the theme to Black Orpheus. So it's on my album Yesterday's News, but it's done with a little more bossa nova kind of thing. This is how it's supposed to go. Usually it's done with a beat. Not sure why this appeared today, but anyway, it goes more like that. I have a lot of stuff. Well, actually, I don't have a lot I want to talk about today, but I do want to break down a question that came up on the forum, and something that happens in lessons every once in a while, and that is metronomes. I have a whole little metronome. Well, wait, I shouldn't say that because it's not really planned, but it's thought out. So what happened this week? I do have to tell you one thing that I didn't tell you last week, and that is things slowed down a little bit around here because unfortunately some of my stuff was burgled, including cameras and tripods, and luckily not guitars. So anyhow, I spent the last week kind of beefing up a security system here at TG Central and replacing things, which means I'm learning to live with a new camera and other stuff. So the lesson production got a little sidelined after I got finished with. This happened right after whatchamacallit. There we go. Girl from Ipanema. And so anyway, but what we did get out this week was something from Max, all around the world, a Red Hot Chili Peppers tune, and it's great to have Kevin back because I think I put something up of Kevin's a little while ago, but he came in and we reviewed a couple of things he was working on. We talked about some really important techniques, getting your fingers down in the order you're going to play them, and so that was important in a couple of tunes. Well, one he was working on, Friend of the Devil, and then I, of course, always bring up House the Rising Sun as a good one to practice. So if you haven't done this in a while and you want to really improve your technique on things, practice House the Rising Sun. Putting down a D chord, one finger at a time just before you play it, instead of slapping it all down and trying to play it. And even more important, the little F that follows that, learn to put it down. Third finger first, then your second finger, and then the bar. And good hand position in order for that chord to happen. Make sure you're not doing this. You'll never get those two notes at the first fret very clean if you're not nice and low on the back of the neck. Anyway, so that lesson with Kevin turned into, let's see if we can fake this. Anyway, so if you haven't messed around with Piano Man in a while, I would usually recommend playing it in a strumming pattern, doing something like this. Wait, C, G with B in the bass. There, it's not just C with G in the bass. Some cool inversions in there. Kind of in the piano world, well, like we recently had songs by Carole King and stuff like that. Okay. Oh, wait, one more important thing. And that is campers, IGC people, we are just around the corner. This probably didn't happen today because I didn't get my job finished, but we have some more open mic stuff coming up from last year's camp, and we are working on a payment plan for IGC Amsterdam. So if anybody's thinking of joining us, we got a few people signed up now, and a few others have asked about maybe doing it in 3 payments. That should be in place next week. So if you've been hemming and hawing about Amsterdam, we should make it a little bit easier next week. So please consider joining us. Really looking forward to like I mentioned in other things. As you know, Vanessa will be there with us, and Max Rich will be there with us too. If you haven't seen any of the recent things about it, so we will have the 3 of us who have never been together in the same room, let alone the same. Well, we've been in the same country at the same time, I think. Who knows? I'm not sure where Max has been the last couple times that Vanessa's been over here. Anyway, enough about that. What I wanted to talk about was a question came up on the forum about speeds and how do you know where to set a metronome for any particular song. And the particular question was about Kathy's song. And so in some old fly on the wall lessons, you may have seen me break out my metronome. I use this Seiko SQ100-77 that is, I'm sure, out of production. Who knows? It might still be. But, it tells you what speed you're playing. It tells you you can set an accent for beat 1 or beat 4 or beat 3 or whatever you want to do. You can have it break it up into eighth notes, all this kind of stuff that I think is generally unnecessary, but it's cool to have. There are times when it's come in handy. And so you set it for a speed, like I'll set it for 100 here, and you hit the button. And now we've got this pulse going of 100 beats per minute, and which is, of course, about 1 2/3 beats per second. Would that be right? I think so. Yes. And if you set it at 60, it would be 1 beat per second. Let me see if I have 60 on here. There you go. Just like clockwork. Okay. So when I'm trying to figure out a speed for a song, and Vanessa had a great little answer to the question, which was along the lines of, well, check the guitar profile because it's set in there. I have to confess that I never worry about setting the guitar profile at the speed that the song really goes. So if you look at one in one of my lessons, like, for example, the Kathy song that is the song in question, it's not reliable. So I could probably change that in the near future, but I'm not going back to change it on the first 1,000 lessons that we have. So what I'm going to do here is show you what I do when I'm trying to figure out the speed of a song. First, I'll listen to the song for a second, and I'm going to dial up Kathy's song here by Eva Cassidy. Maybe we'll listen to Simon Garfunkel's in a minute. And I'll tell you what I'm looking for. Let's hear it. Okay. First thing I hear is that it's got very fast repeating bass notes. Bum, 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 bum. I'm not sure I want to, so those are eighth notes, and I'm pretty sure in my tablature to them I would have put those as eighth notes, and I would put the speed of the beat as quarter notes at probably this speed. And then I would start guessing what that might be. It's not 60. I might start around 100. Let's see what that is. Okay, I'm still feeling that beat. That is faster than what I was just hearing. So now I'll put this back on, and then I'll learn to start this exactly on a beat. I'll start tapping with it, and then I'll hit the metronome and see if it stays in time with it. So as we hear her beat, let's go back to the beginning, and once I get in time with her beat, well, let's see what happens when I start the metronome at the beginning of a measure. First I'll count like 4 beats. 2, 3, 4. Okay, this is going too fast. I have to slow it down. So 100 was too much. So I dialed it down a little bit, and I put it down to 92. Now I'll do the same thing. 2, 3, 4. I'm a little behind now. Can you hear that? Okay, 92 is too slow. But it was closer, because for a couple beats it sounded right. Let's try 94. Let's do the same thing. 2, 3, 4. Still with it after 2 measures. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's good at staying in time. I point over here because that's where the speaker is in my room here. Okay, that's close enough. So 94 stayed with it for a few measures. Now most recordings are done without a metronome, even if you have a drummer. it's really common for a song to change times and get faster or slower, or all kinds of strange things can happen. So, but let me dial this up now to 95 and see if at the beginning we get ahead of her. I mean, that would be really fine-tuning, saying that, man, it's 94 and 95 is too fast. I have it at 95 now. Probably, I don't know if you can see that. Too much glare and stuff. But we'll see what happens at 95 if this gets ahead. 2, 3, 4. Still pretty good. Not together anymore. Anyway, get the idea, but that's still, if you played it at 95, so if I set this at, well, let's check. Oh, this is kind of dangerous because this could take a little while. But let me see what happens if we dial up Simon and Garfunkel's version. Wait a minute, it's under S, right? Simon, there we go. All right, let's see what they're doing. Where is Kathy's song in here? Uh-oh, you'd think I could have been better prepared here, probably, huh? Richard Corey, there we go. That's her 94, too slow. You hear that? Okay, let's speed it up. Let's take it to 98. I'm still getting behind. Let's try 100. Still too slow. I'm going to speed it up. Start again. 2, 3. I'm at 102 now. Getting a little behind. Now, it could be they sped up. So I just sped up to 104. Let's see what happens here. They're still faster than 104 now. Staying right with him now at 106. Now he's slowed down a little bit because he missed a note there. Oh, don't say that. Never mind. That didn't really happen. Okay, so things do not have to stay. Music is not played always, actually almost ever, I can't say that, with a metronome. It doesn't matter if the song speeds up and slows down a little bit. It helps the emotion and everything else of it. Which brings me to, well, let me try one more here. I'm going to dial up something you probably haven't heard and do this test again. A band I have always liked. Okay. That's faster than 106. I'm going to try to start at 120. Not enough. Still a little slow. I went to 126, so I stop it, dial it up a little bit. A little fast. Staying right with it though. Just a little bit ahead. Let's try 127. A little slow. Now, so they are speeding up and slowing down a little bit in there too. Okay. You ready for me to tell you what that was? Who's got it? Here's the answer. Seatrain. A tune of theirs called Out Where the Hills. Band that grew out of the ashes of the Blues Project. Okay, let's not go too far into. I've already rambled on far enough, but I do want to try one. Oh, I'm going to try one more thing. Let me see if I can get this to happen fast before I totally lose you. I'm going to play a bit of a ridiculous song of John Renbourn's. Let's see if hopefully I can find it fast. It's on what album? It's not on the Attic tapes. It's on Sir John-a-Lot. Where's Sir John-a-Lot? Come on. I know you've got it. All right, listen to this. Okay, that's booking. That's over 200. Or it's around 200. Let me put this up at 200 and see if we're even close. Not fast enough. He's going faster now. Not fast enough. John, hold it. Wait for me. There we go. Okay, right now he's up around 215. Every time I hear that song, which is called My Dear Boy, by the way, I think, man, that is just, it's crazy, and it doesn't matter that it speeds up and slows down and all this other stuff. And so when I started working on this about 400 years ago, I tried to do the same thing. And slop it all up. This could be really dangerous. I'm going to try to play that with a metronome. I'm going to slow it down to 190 and see if I can even find the beats. Okay, that's what I mean. This was unrehearsed and unplanned, except that I did think about it. Okay, let's see what happens if I try to play My Dear Boy at 190 and try to keep it right there. Wow. Had to wait for a minute. Now it has to slow down there. Gotta remember to breathe when you do stuff like that. Because we do need a little bit of a retard at the end. Anyway. When I hear that, there are spots in there where when I hear John play this lead, he just blasts through it, and I have to. It has to go much slower than that to stay at that speed. Now, did that sound musical? I'm not sure. I mean, it was still kind of frantic. I should go home and brush up on this. Wait, I am home. I should go brush up on this. Okay, that's it for today's fun with metronomes diversion. I hope that helped a little bit. I forget. Hopefully somebody watched this. So hopefully somebody paid attention and got the answer to the Kathy song question, whatever speed Eva was doing it at and whatever speed Simon and Garfunkel were doing it at, because I forgot to take notes. That's it. Back next week.